In today's video, we're going to be having a look at what's going on with the US economy, especially since it's been announced that they have officially been in a recession. We're also going to look at the shots that are being fired between Biden and Trump. In addition to all that, there are a few other things on the news for the day ahead, so stay tuned. Hello and welcome to another ACY Securities Market Update. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be a host through today's trading journey. Now, the first thing to talk about today is a little bit of an explanation about what's going on in the stock market and why we are seeing some rises. A simple explanation has really been put forward that we have had a large number of people or new entrants starting to participate in the financial markets, namely on the retail side of things. We have noted that there has been more than 30 times the daily volume on average compared to 2019 in the past few months since the lockdown started. We've also got this concept of a self-fulfilling prophecies occurring in retail traders. Now, the idea behind this is that being when you train people or people learn of the same sort of behaviors of what's going on and they start acting on those behaviors, you tend to find that whatever the current form of prophecy or thought or the forecast might be starts to play out, purely because people are reading the same sort of information and discovering that it's working, and so therefore they begin to trade in line with it. Now, we've also seen some stocks that are actually surging in their stock prices after filing for bankruptcy. American Airlines public value has been traded every 4 days, even though they are not in a position to be making revenue themselves. So there are a number of weird elements that are going on that can really be downplayed to some of the psychology elements that we are seeing in the market. The next one to sort of have a look here as well is the National Bureau of Economic Research. They have indicated that the US economy was in fact in a recession back in February. Although the official result didn't come out until Monday this week, it has left quite a few marks on the economy and a number of people are starting to talk about it, including politicians. Now, the first thing to really look at here is that when it comes to recessions during a US election, there have only been 5. And of those 5, there's only been one president who has managed to remain and do his second term. So, looking at the facts there, it's probably not going to be favorable to Trump, considering the rest of them have not made it all the way through. But there's such a small sample size that it isn't exactly relevant at this point in time, or at least statistically significant. So we will have to keep an eye on what's going on, but his popularity at this point in time is not improving. Now, when it comes to the stuff that's going on between Trump and Biden, we've had the first shots fired. Biden has basically turned around and said, look, you've managed to put the American economy into a recession, and very easily so. So he's starting to tighten that noose and hang it around Trump's neck in terms of the recession. And obviously, we've seen how he handled the pandemic and, of course, what's going on right now with riots and protests across the US. So his potential chance of actually getting a presidency again is dwindling very quickly. Now, hopefully we do see some change to this. Trump's turnaround and cutback for this has been that he is saying, well, I've done it before getting the economy on track, I can do it again. But is there enough evidence to suggest that that is the case? He was taken over from an area of presidency where it was starting to recover, and that is exactly what Biden was saying as well, that during his time as vice president, he was able to successfully start to bring the economy out of a recession. But we won't really know for sure, and there is going to be a lot of points that are made by both of these parties that will probably have to be fact-checked at some stage sooner or later. Now, when it comes to what's going on in Hong Kong, we haven't had much of an update for a little while. The last thing we sort of knew was that the UK was offering residency and potentially citizenship to about 3 million people from Hong Kong. Now the US is starting to push for that. We have 5 Republicans and 1 Democrat senator all supporting to allow Hong Kong residents to immigrate to the US. So that might take a little bit of tension off the UK side of things, but it's certainly going to raise the tensions that we've been seeing between the China and the US situation, especially on their relationship. So hopefully we do get a little bit more resolution and we will get some more news about whether it gets approved and what the rest of the country is really thinking about that as a way forward. Now, in terms of the news ahead, there is a fair bit of US news tonight, so please be aware of it. We do have US CPI being the first one, but from there we have a slew of releases coming from the FOMC. And that includes Jerome Powell making a statement. We've also got some of their economic projections, which will likely forecast what we're going to see over the next 6 months and what their anticipation is for the labour market. So certainly keep an eye on that because it will be important. That's all we really have for you today. We will be doing a podcast a bit later on, which is why you are seeing the room in a little bit of a different setup, but we will no doubt get that to you as soon as we can. Now, if you have any questions about anything I've covered today, please feel free to shoot me an email at talk2al@acy.com. And of course, like and subscribe the video so you can get more great content from me and ACY Securities in the future. Have a great trading day ahead.